This Good Morning Northwest Morning Sprint is brought to you by Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning.
The time is now 6:53. Time to get you ready to take on your Friday in the morning sprint.
Allison Martinez has important finance tips you can share with your kids.
Sydney Charles has details on a high-stakes visit to the U.S.-Mexico border.
But first, let's get to Mark's forecast to help you take on your weekend.
All right, good morning, everybody. All right, so the bottom line in our first alert weather is that we're starting off cool, and so we want you to wear light layers. We have wind, so maybe heavier layers, and then maybe a snow layer for 3 p.m. That's when we're expecting to see some light snow or rain-snow mix come through our region, and we want you to be prepared for it. We could see a sunbreak or two, and then snow and rain-snow mixed, and then that pushes out 1 to 3 inches for Saturday. We're not expecting to see a lot today, so just be aware that Saturday could be that day where you're going to have slow going. Our high today is going to be 41, but we're going to be in the upper 30s for most of the day.
Prosecutors in eastern Washington will seek the death penalty for a man accused of killing his wife, her unborn child, and their 10-month-old son. According to investigators, 48-year-old Jeremy Best shot and killed his wife in November. She was pregnant, and they say he took off with their 10-month-old son, and the next day, hunters found Best naked on the side of the road. His son's body was found in the same area. Jeremy Best faces 3 first-degree murder charges.
A former Pasco police officer will be sentenced Monday for the murder of a Spokane woman in 1986. A judge found Richard Aguirre guilty of first-degree murder in the killing of Ruby Doss in December. But Aguirre's new lawyer says there is insufficient evidence to support that Aguirre was the only suspect who pursued Doss and that the crime was premeditated. The defense wants Aguirre's conviction to be reduced from first to second-degree murder. The judge delayed Aguirre's sentencing, originally scheduled for January 26th, until Monday in order to consider that motion.
Spokane County Sheriff's deputies arrested a former juvenile correction facility employee on charges of child rape and custodial sexual misconduct. An anonymous email tipped off officials at Martin Hall Juvenile Corrections Facility in Medical Lake that policy was being violated during the transport of a 15-year-old girl. After an internal investigation, the facility fired 40-year-old Antoine D. Jones for violating policy. The facility then reported the information to the sheriff's office, which began its own investigation. The sheriff's office arrested Jones at the Public Safety Building.
A Spokane man will spend the next 11 years in prison for the murder of a man at Franklin Park last summer. 43-year-old Jose Matthews pleaded guilty for shooting 26-year-old Darnell Pluff July 14th. Pluff was shot in the head and neck, was pronounced dead at the scene. Police arrested Matthews 2 weeks later.
This morning, new details on the migrant crisis at the southern border. It comes as we're learning more about President Biden and Donald Trump's visits to Texas yesterday, with both saying how they'll fix the border crisis. Biden is urging Republican lawmakers to pass the border security bill. It would give more funding to Border Patrol officers and immigration judges. It's currently stalled in Congress. House Republicans are blocking the bill under Trump's direction. The former president promising mass deportations and more border wall. Coverage on the visits will continue coming up next on Good Morning America.
Ban law enforcement officers in Washington from hog-tying suspects is closer to becoming law, with the majority of the House approving the bill. One state representative calling it dehumanizing and dangerous because of its risk of suffocation. The bill had previously passed the Senate, but it needs to go back for verification before heading to the governor's desk.
There are now 2 FEMA disaster recovery centers open in Elk and Medical Lake to help wildfire survivors. FEMA officials say they can even potentially help families who've been denied assistance. Many wildfire survivors are still struggling 6 months after the fires tore through 2 communities. Federal, state, and local organizations are at disaster recovery centers trying to provide financial assistance, even if a person is insured. All wildfire survivors need to provide is documentation of insurance and ownership.
To wrap up Money Makeover Week, I'm sharing financial lessons to help you set your kid up for success. Good financial habits start at a young age. You can share tips with your kids like the 3 S's: saving, spending, and sharing. Through STCU's Filler Up program, your child can also earn rewards for making deposits into a savings account. For more information on this program and others, you can head to our website, KXLY.com.
Gonzaga and Whitworth universities are extending the deadline for incoming students to accept their admissions offers because of delays with the new FAFSA form. The Department of Education recently announced that colleges and universities will not receive students' financial aid information until mid-March. Future Zags and Pirates now have until June 1st to accept their admissions offers. Back with a final check of weather with Mark right after this.